The term high functioning autism has kind of fell out of favor. And I get it, but I honestly kind of like the term. It's semi convenient. What it means is relative to somebody who is not self sufficient, we're high functioning. But people on the spectrum oftentimes don't like the term because they don't feel high functioning. In fact, it feels invalidating in a lot of ways because I can just say when I've gone to family and friends with issues, a lot of times it's kind of like, so what? What's the big deal? And maybe it's a point of privilege if we want to use words like that to think that the things that I'm struggling with are an issue, but I could just say it's hard to pinpoint because it's so omnipresent. It's everywhere. It's not just like this one thing here is not working out. It's almost like on all levels things aren't quite working out right. And I don't know if I'm just like one behavior away from being okay with things, or even just society's getting to a level of understanding where people like me can feel more at ease wherever I go, but I don't. And oftentimes I've just seen that things don't work out in my favor. Things that should be a certain way just aren't, based off the way the neurotypical brain works. I mean, let me just use some stories from my life. For one, in high school, I worked this job. At the job, when I showed up to the job, I would do the job. I would do my job, make sure the job was done. That was the most important thing to me. Other people were more likely to slack off and socialize. Who gets their promotions? Who gets promoted first? The person there doing their job, or the people socializing? People socializing. What ended up happening here is I turned into a bad employee. Eventually, in fact, I just stopped showing up. I didn't even call in. I realized now I was going through a burnout mode in high school because I was getting sick of this stuff. But, it's embarrassing to me that I'm there longer than people and not getting promoted even though I'm doing my job just because I'm the least liked. I'm just like, what is that? I just. It carries over to a lot of things. You think you're going to do science and just do science? No. You got to learn how to play the politics. It's very bureaucratic. Very. You think you're going to do business? Well, you got to learn how to sell yourself. Being social and being accepted is big for success. So, if I'm high functioning, it's like, why am I struggling so much with getting a promotion when I'm working hard? See, it's all social. So many things in this society are built around socializing, and we have a disability there, by and large. I wouldn't imagine that there's some perks here being on the outside of this thing, because I watch neurotypicals just mindlessly accept things all the time because the group has such a big allure for them to fit in. Not to say that we don't want to, it's just I feel rejected when I try to. In fact, there's been many groups of people where they don't even want to try. I get the feeling that when I say something, it's just met with some contrary opinion in such a way that if anyone else in the group would have said what I said, it would have been fine. It's just the fact I'm saying it. In fact, I have seen that exact thing happen. This exact thing I'm talking about. I've said something to a friend before, and I just got shit for it. And then literally somebody else the friend was sucking up to said the exact same thing, and it's like all he had to say was good things about the thing this person said. So, this might just be an offshoot chance that this happened with this one person, but I don't get that vibe a lot of times. I just get the vibe people don't want to listen, people want me to go away, and so that's what I do. It's just a lot of the things are not bad what I'm doing. I got yelled at because my body language was awkward. I was sitting in the passenger seat while he's driving, and I wasn't even thinking about anything other than what's out the window. Like, I wasn't even aware of how I looked there. And instantly, I'm like, oh, well, shit, is this better? now that I'm visibly uncomfortable, that's what I ended up saying here because I was frustrated with this person. It was like time after time something like this. He was putting me in a little box the whole time, telling me exactly who I am, what I can and can't get. And at one point, I was asking about his music. Oh, this sounds like a little bit of Thrasher with some stoner rock mixed in. And just tells me that not everything can be categorized. It's just annoying you try to do that all the time. It's like, what the hell? I'm just trying to relate to you with your music, and all you've done is categorize me nonstop. It's not that I was categorizing his music, it's that it was me saying it. And I just don't address the elephant in the room. It's better not to. At least that's what it seems like at the time. But it gets wearing. Because, like, I meet this attitude everywhere I go. It gets to a point where it's like, why go anywhere? I don't want to worry about my facial expression not being up to par for you just because you expect me to reciprocate in such a way that other people do. So what if the rhythm of my voice doesn't match your rhythm and your voice? Does it matter that much? Apparently it does. It just seems so superficial and meaningless to me, but so important to other people. But the problem is I don't think they even realize it's important. I think it's just so ingrained in them. They don't think one way or another of it. Either you do it or you don't. If you don't do it, well, you're fucked. So that's just a little rant I had on being on the spectrum and some of the struggles that I just feel like I face this all the time, everywhere I go. And it can get kind of lonely. Because people don't look at me, they look at their idea of who I am based off superficial markers like this. And a lot of times I feel like I get a lot of behaviors projected on me, which just gets old. It gets really old. So it's just discouraging for many reasons. Especially because, like, if you're going to want to have a career of some sort, it just seems like a hurdle you're not going to be able to jump over, almost. Because people won't let you. They'll just keep changing the size of that hurdle. You can try all you want to relate to the person with their music, but they don't want to relate to you, so they're just going to shut you down as soon as you try to. So, yeah. I could be here all day talking about so many things floating around in my head right now, but I think I'm just going to cut it there. That it just doesn't make sense. And yeah, this is just past the whole sensory stuff. There's so much more to it than this, but omnipresent wherever you go. We're still human. We still want to belong. It's just hard to find that belonging.